How to create a symmetry wave effect in Photoshop. Something like that. Something like that. Or like that. How to create that? Well, it's very simple. Edit and fill command with patterns. The source design is a wave. Very simple wave design. So file and new. I'm going to go for a 10 by 15 centimetre document. RGB colour, 16-bit with 300 resolution. And I'm going to use that for both the source as well as the result document. I'm going to go with black for the design. For the source, I'm going to use a transparent background. Now go to the elliptical marquee tool. Now you don't have to use elliptical marquee tool. You can use rectangular. You can use the lasso tool to create your own different selections, maybe combine selections. But I'm using just very simple circle. Fill most of the document as well. Don't skimp on the size for the selection. Don't create a very small selection. Once you've done that, edit and fill. And set the contents to be pattern. Custom pattern. These are wave designs. I've created these earlier, so you've got a whole range of different wave designs. They're all grey, light grey. The reason for that is that it creates a nice range of colour randomisation. And they're all created using the Curvature Tool. Some have got additional shadows using the layer style, as well as bevels. And you can create maybe 3 or 4 different waves and combine them into a pattern design. I'll show you how to do that later in the video. So make certain that symmetry fill is on, script is on, and click OK. That's it. Let's just run it. What you can then do is change the scale. I'm going to go for the max for the scale. Also, you can change the translation. You've got the horizontal and you've got the width and height. You can change those. And different combinations will create different designs. So you can go for a whole load of different designs just by changing those. The scale's more particularly obvious. You can see it goes just very small. I'm using number 7 for the symmetry type. Dilative rotation, symmetry. And also colour randomness is set to fairly high as well, and brightness. So it's applied. There you go. You've got your design there. What you can then do, make a copy of it. And you can paste those multiple times. So edit and copy, or Control C, etc. And then paste, edit and paste. Or hold down the Alt and Option keys to duplicate. Now you can drag those around. And hold down the Alt or Option key and drag, just to duplicate it, very easy. Or you can use the layer menu and duplicate, or just paste, as mentioned. Fill the entire document with that design. And you can resize these. You can also turn them into smart objects. So layer menu, smart object, convert to a smart object, apply transformations. But you can also just go layer and flatten image. And once you've done that, you can apply filters to it. My favourite filter is always the oil paint. Just adds a little bit of smeariness to the design. And the key panels for this tutorial, layers, you can find via the window menu, and patterns. So filter, stylize and oil paint. Set stylization cleanliness high, click OK. And then you've got your design. And you can apply it 3 or 4 times as well. You don't have to just apply it just once. Also go to image menu, adjustments and levels. And you can change the input levels as well. Just brighten it up a bit. Click OK. As well as go to the image menu, adjustments and vibrance. Push up the colours a bit more as well. Make it more vibrant. click OK. There's your design. Well, of course, now I've got lots of other pattern designs, so you can do all kinds of different designs with this. So just go back to that, and I'm just going to still keep that same circle. Edit and fill. Use symmetry fill exactly as before, and just use one of the others. They're very similar, all just basic waves up and down. Some curves, more curves than others. Click OK. And again, you can change the translation settings or scale, up to you. Create all kinds of unique designs just by simply moving those values backwards and forwards in different combinations. But I'm going to go with that. That's quite a nice design. Just want them overlapping. Click OK. So once you've got that design, again, edit and copy. And then paste again just to make a completely another layer. And you can duplicate those again, Alt Option key, Alt or Option key, and drag. Fill the entire design, or not. It's up to you, of course. You don't have to fill the entire design, but I'm just going to fill the entire design with that tangle of lines. So you can't see any of the black behind. Once you've done that, layer and flatten. But you could also just select all of them, convert them into a single smart object and combine them in different ways. So filter and normal paint, and you end up with that sort of design. And again, you can go to adjustments, levels, input levels, and just brighten it up a little bit. And again, use the vibrance if you wish as well. So all kinds of amazing designs, just from a simple wave, very simple wave design. So go to the circle there, and you can maybe make it elliptical. Don't have to make it circular. So something elliptical like that. You can also go up to the corner and then can use a combine option for the selection. So use again circle, and then just click that one in the top left. So now you can combine. So you can create unusual selections like that, and then fill that with those tangled designs. So edit and fill. Go and select another one now. Yeah, that one. Just wave up and down, slightly different, but that's all via the Curvature Tool. Click OK, and then you've got the design there. It's all whirling into the centre. And again, you can change the translation settings. If the design you've got is not exactly what you want with one setting, just try them, experiment. So I just want it all overlapping. Click OK. And then you've got that design filled. And you can do exactly the same as before. Go over to the Edit menu and copy. And paste. So you can make multiple layers. And again, you can change it into a smart object, scale it, rotate it. It doesn't have to be as is. So again, you can fill the design with those oddly shaped, tangled messes. But it does once you combine it, once you use a few filters like the oil paint, the result doesn't look such a tangled. Maybe that's what you want. You might not even want the oil paint. I've just used the oil paint to smear it in, but you don't have to. Just flatten the entire thing. As I say, what you can do, you can scale it, make them smaller. Maybe even use blending modes via the layers panel. You don't have to keep them as normal. Maybe use them as darken or lighten. So you can then layer menu and flatten image. Again, filter and oil paint. And again, you've got that lovely smeary design there. And again, levels, adjustments, levels. Just brighten it up a bit using the input levels. Go ahead and click OK. So all kinds of unique, sort of this like lovely blending designs can be created very quickly and easily using a combination of edit and fill and oil paint. Now, you don't have to delete what's there. I mean, I've always just gone back to black, but you can just put the selection on top of what exists already. And then go to Edit and Fill. And choose another one. That one. Now, that one's got slightly different. That's a bevel one. Click OK. So you've got that design there. I'm not going to change anything now. I'm not going to change translation. Could do, but it looks pretty reasonable anyway. Click OK. So you've got your design there, and you can see it's because you've got the background, you've got additional colour from the previous design. Again, edit and copy, create a layer, Alt and Option. So you can create some very, very extreme, colourful designs using this approach. And you can combine earlier designs as well. Of course, you can take the actual design as well. Once you've created that, flattened it, you can actually select an area and use the same approach. You don't have to use the edit fill. So you've got this really lovely set of lines, which you can then duplicate, maybe turn it into a smart object. Combine, so layer and smart object, convert to a smart object. So once it's a smart object, you can transform it, edit and transform, maybe use the warp. But you can also go to, say, like filter menu and liquify. So just change, just drag it around, just using the points or just the actual design itself. You can just drag it around the bounding box. So you can distort the actual shape of that, and then you can duplicate that. Again, Alt, Option key, drag. And you can resize that as well. Try and resize it. Sometimes it just doesn't want to let you do it. So the best way, go to the Edit menu and transform. So edit, transform, and rotate or scale. And you can always add a shadow to that. You can have a bevel to that design. It's a layer. It's a smart object. And again, you can duplicate that design. Alt, Option key, and drag. Once you've done that, layer and flatten image. Filter and oil paint again. And you've got that design. It's a very abstract, sort of swirly design. It's sort of in and out, very intense. Again, go to levels, just to brighten it up a bit. The one trouble with oil paint, always makes it darker. Or dull, I think. But it's a great effect. It just needs a bit of a extra, really brighten up the design. Go back to the basic fill. And again, create another selection there. And it doesn't have to be a circle. I'm using circle as an example here. But it could be any kind of selection. Edit and fill. Change the pattern. Click OK. and you've got that design there. That's a much more intense design. I made a very, very, very intense wave. So you've got that design, and you can do exactly the same, all the same, edit and copy and paste. Okay, move tool and alternate option and drag. But you can also turn it into a smart object. So layer and smart objects, convert to a smart object. You go to then filter and maybe apply oil paint. But you can also apply Liquify. And just drag that out. Distort it. Just stretch it out and make it like into a star design. Using all of the various tools that are in the Liquify. I'm using the top tool. Change brush size as well. I'm just using a fairly large brush size. Just drag that down. So you can really distort the design. You can still see those strands in there. Click OK. So you've got that design there. What you can do then is go to Layer and Layer Menu, Layer Style and Bevel and Emboss. Give it a bit of depth. Change the depth settings. Change the contours. Change the angle. So you can run through all the various contour settings. I must admit, I prefer the first one. First one gives a really nice. And also you can add a shadow to it as well. So you've got a shadow. Click OK. And again, you can duplicate that. So Alt or Option key and drag. Again, you can resize these, you can rotate it, you can transform it again. And the one good thing about smart filters, I love smart filters because you can always go back to it. Say you don't like that design, you can always tweak the Liquify. Or maybe use Wave, the filter menu and Wave. You can also go and add additional filters. So filter menu, stylize and oil paint. Just to create a oil paint effect on top of the Liquify. And again, duplicate that. Fill the design. And you don't have to fill the entire design. I mean, in this example, I'm always filling the entire image, but you don't have to do that. No need to. But I'm just creating it as a sort of background design, overlay, texture. Because what you can also do is you can go to the image menu, adjustments, and black and white. Turn it into a texture. You can also apply transformations to it, so you can rotate them. Press return. And then you've got your design there. Slightly different liquefied design. And you can select all of those layers, turn those into a smart object, or maybe just go to Layer Menu and Flatten Image. So you can see now you've got a really lovely depth design there. So Filter Menu and Stylize, or just use oil paint there. And you can apply it 3 or 4 times. Image adjustments and levels again. So you can see you can use this approach to create all kinds of quite unique, unusually oddball line designs just from a simple wave, from a very simple start point. And vibrance there. Click OK. Something like that can be created, something like that. All comes about from something as very simple as that. Well, how to create that? We'll just go to, I'm just going to make it a complete fresh document. It's a transparent document, so File and New and use transparent as a background. Go over to the Curvature Tool and use Shape, No Fill, set the stroke to grey, light grey, and then set the stroke width as well as the alignment. I'm using centre. And then just click the document. Just do a wave design. And just create your line there. Very simple. Backwards and forwards. And you can always tweak the curvature design. You can always use the tool to modify it. And you can always undo if you don't want that design. You can also duplicate that design. Hold down the Alt Option key and duplicate it. So you can create 2 or 3 or 4. Maybe apply a transformation, rotate it around. Combine it in different ways. Shift it, apply effects to it. Scale it. So once you're happy with that design, then you can define it as a pattern. So filter, and I'm going to use this just to create a sort of like a shadow. So blur, filter menu, blur and Gaussian blur. Convert to smart object. Set the radius to fairly large. You can see the blur design there. Click OK. Now go over to the rectangular marquee selection tool and select that entire design. Just that area there. You don't want the whole lot. You just want that bit of the wavy design. And edit and define pattern. Give it a name. Click OK. And then it's saved to your patterns panel as a preset. So what you can then do, of course, you can use it via the edit menu and fill. So create a new document, 10 by 15, black, RGB 16-bit. Great. Again, go to the Tools panel, an elliptical, but you don't have to use it. I keep going for that one. Don't have to use elliptical. You can just, but I think it's the easiest one. Just create a nice selection like that. Fill most of the document with that selection. Again, you could combine it with other, or maybe use subtractions. So once you've done that, you can then fill it with that design you just created, added to your panel. So edit and fill. Make certain you go and select the pattern, otherwise you click and you're just using the old one. I do that more often than not, because you can't change it once you get to the next panel. Symmetry fill again, make certain it's on, script is on, click OK. And you've got your design there. And again, you can change the translation settings. You can just by going backwards and forwards, try out a whole range of different designs. Some work better than others. Click OK. And now you've got your design. It's been added to that selection. And again, you can do exactly the same as before. Edit and copy. And then paste. Alter option and drag. So you've got your design spread across the document. And the reason I made a fairly big selection is because otherwise, if you create a small one, you end up with lots and lots of, and for tutorial purposes, just makes it a lot slower. So it's nice to have a slightly bigger design. Otherwise, I spend half an hour just dragging and dropping. So you've got the whole document now filled with your wonderful line design and layer and flatten image. And again, you could leave it like that. You don't have to use your paint, of course. Navigator, just zoom in a bit so you can see it a bit better. So there's the design. And filter menu and stylize if you want to do that. And oil paint. Or maybe apply wave designs to it. Liquify. And you can change settings, of course. I've used stylization fairly high. Don't have to. You can also use lighting as well. Put lighting on. Gives it a bit more three-dimensional. Creates an interesting design. Turn that off. Very rarely use lighting, I must admit. Be nice if it was a really truly three-dimensional lighting. That would be really brilliant. What you can do, you can apply the filter oil paint a couple of times. You can also use things like find edges. Of course, if you want to brighten it up again, go to levels, but you can also use colour lookup, or maybe use black and white filter adjustment, or use blue tone in the colour lookup, or green and red. All kinds of designs can be created, and they're all just from a very simple wave design. Within seconds, you can create a lovely, unique, swirly, intense design using a combination of edit and fill, symmetry script, and paste. And there's the default. Create something like that. Or that. You've got all the patterns there. And you, of course, can save those, export those to a PAT file, use them in future projects. Hope you found this tutorial of interest. Please subscribe to the Graphic Extra channel. Always adding new tutorials about Photoshop, Illustrator, etc. all the time. Also, please add a comment or two. Would be great, as well as a dislike or like. Thank you much.